Welcome everyone. As you saw by the thumbnail, I'm doing an unboxing and reveal of the subs that are going to be going into the Supra, the next step of the stereo build. So this video I'm going to take you through some of my designing and some of just the building of the sub boxes and the final result. I decided to go with some Hertz, called the Mille Legends, the ML 2500.3. They are 2 ohms each, and I'm going to be bridging the amplifier down to run a 2 ohm load. This is probably the best speakers that Hertz has in their lineup. These are basically sound quality subs. They have plenty of output. They're going to get over 500 watts RMS a piece in a nice good sealed box. So there'll be tons of output. I'm not going to downplay that, but sound quality, true reproduction of sound. This is what everybody talks about, and that's what I'm going for with this build. It's a very high SQ build, sound quality build. So let's do a little unboxing of these subs. I'll show you them, how well they're built and the special magnet they put for these, and then the future rest of this video will be just me kind of mess around, trying to come up with some ideas and building of the sub box. So let's get started. All right, let's get this unboxing done. So I've had a peek at this sub for all you to see it. Here's this beauty, neodymium magnet, nice vented coils, cast basket, lots of room, for movement. Just a beautiful speaker, easy to connect terminals, got some 12 gauge wire running to them. And then here is the big reveal. These are Hertz speaker grills, and then while I was having the sway bar strut tower brace painted, I actually had this matched. Nice cast, probably aluminum, but I had matching done, and that's my plan, is to use this. If it's too much in the end, I'll be able to take it off and not use it, but we'll see how it turns out. But very, very pretty speaker grill. Matches the doors for the most part, keeps the whole theme of the design, not the color. So that's an unveil of the subs, and I will get going and start designing a sub box. This car's been for a few months at JML Audio, and they've been building the doors, doing all the wiring, getting the amp hooked up, getting the signals, getting the speakers installed. And what they left me with was to build the sub box in the trunk floor. Because I decided to do that part myself. I've built a lot of sub boxes and trunks and stuff for stereo systems, air ride, you name it. So after working for, believe it or not, a good solid day working on design and making sure I was going to have enough airspace, this is the kind of the start of the process here. And, for symmetry reasons, what I'm kind of working with here is matching angles, match, parallel floor widths here, to make it look nice. But let me kind of explain what I've done. So what I needed to have these sub boxes removable. And in order to do that, I needed to be able to mount them somehow. So I needed to build a false floor. So the false floor is for a few reasons. First of all, I needed to get the floor up about 1 inch higher for all the wires for clearance. And then my future plans are to put a really nice Stinger battery in here and do really nice terminals and have some nice power distribution over here in this area lit up. So this is the floor, and this will probably be carpeted in a nice, just real thin pile black, because it will have a new false floor covering the whole thing and tucking up under the sub box to finish the whole trunk out. And then that piece will actually probably match the floor mats of the car. So it'll probably be like some black vinyl with the red stitching, kind of like I'm going to have the floor mats just up the middle. Now, the sub boxes, well, here, let me finish with the floor. What I did with the floor was, there's actually the battery brace that holds the battery down and has a factory bolt hole right here. and right here. So what I did was I mounted that brace to the back of the board in a couple spots, bolted it to it, and then I just slide it over and lock it in place and do the factory bolt holes, and that makes this floor locked down. It's not bolted down right now. Then the next most important thing in this design was the sub boxes had to be able to go in and out. I didn't want to permanently build a stereo system in this trunk where we couldn't access taking the battery out, getting behind the walls, you know, for the stereo system over here and the factory fuses over here. Obviously it would take a little work to get it out, but it'd actually be really simple. So what I'm going to do is, since the floor is permanently mounted down, without a sub in, I will have a few bolts screwed in to this floor. So the floor is solidly mounted down, and the sub box will have a few screws in it, and that'll lock the sub boxes in the corner. So now, as for this, is just the face of the sub boxes. It's of course going to have a grill, and I'm not really sure the whole final outcome of it. That'll be left towards the end of this video. You know what I mean? How it's going to look, what material it's going to be done in, or multiple materials, etc., etc. But basically, something that's real important is you actually have to be able to move and pull this sub box out once it has a full back built on it, you know, so that it can go in and out of the car with this really tucked up and underneath here. That was the hard part, designing that. So, but like I said, once it follows a nice contour of this all the way around, you know, no gaps. Now, you know, the sub fits in here, and the magnet is, you know, about 1/4 of an inch away from this back part right here. So now I have all this airspace back behind in here on both sides. It's a little less on the right side. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build as much of that box as I can out of wood to the cubic airspace that I need. Each side will be identical. So I'll build the side on the right because it's a smaller side, and I'll duplicate it on the left side here. And then, you know, where there's going to be weird gaps and weird angles, that'll be fiberglassed in, because there's too many weird contours to try to make a solid box back there with the right amount of airspace. So as I'm sitting right now, if I make a really rudimentary box, I'm at a cubic foot for a 10, and I want to be at 0.8 to 0.85. So it's easy to take away airspace on a box once it's built, obviously, by adding just little fillers inside and stuff. So I'm sitting pretty like that. But, like, you know, so that's just where I'm at now. You know, it's symmetry is important, you know, and I'm making sure that, you know, angles match. The weird thing about angles with this angle right here and this angle, they're actually the same, but it's just weird the way angles work this way and this way. In order to match it, it had to be different. And I don't know. I like the way it looks. And like I said, this gap will be filled with the false floor. So I couldn't go all the way to the wall because then the sub boxes are too long to be able to remove them in and out. So I'm just kind of giving you a mid update on things and showing you the progress and some ideas that I had for doing it. Instead of making really fancy fiberglass fronts, they actually don't fit very well for 10s. 8s would have been more ideal for a corner placement in the back firing forward, but I liked the way this looked. So, and this will give me some center trunk space too. All right, so I'll continue with the video. I'm sure you're wondering what you're looking at. Well, the right, left sub box, and that's the face for one of them. The other face hiding over there. Basically, what I have going on is, I have 0.7 foot of airspace if you count all this weird dimension and this cubby, which is not quite what I want, but it will do. Now, what I'm going to end up getting out of this is this will have fiberglass mat, and it will come over to here to give me more airspace between here and here. So this little cubby right here, it's like 100 square inches, you know what I mean? That's not very much. This should give me about that also, right in this area. This is cut out for the magnet, and this will all just be regular glassed in, and this will be glassed in, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Once I'm done and I measure this, I'll use like some kitty litter is typically how I do it. I'll pour it in there. You know, I'll pour it exactly a liter at a time and figure out exactly how many square liters it is, or convert that to inches, whatever I have to do. If I need a little more airspace, I have this end where I could glass this end in and then drill holes out in this to get a little bit, and that's how that works. Now I'm going to hit pause here and I'll show you this box installed and show what I'm doing. Actually, I'll just show you the trunk. So here's the trunk. So the floor is bolted in. I did do some foam padding on the bottom of it, so it's solid. Nope, it's not wood against the sound deadening. And then as you can see, that corner is that corner I was telling you about, how I'm going to get that extra airspace. And over there also, sorry about the lighting, it's kind of getting late in the evening. So let me hit pause and I'll show you exactly with one of the boxes in. Now it is just sitting there on my little marker line. So as you can see, this part needs to be glassed in, you know, right here. So I'm just gonna go over this little edge. But this is that part where I'm gonna have fleece back here and then tuck down to here. And then it will match this. And I'll glass the fleece from this side, and then I'll let it dry, and then I'll pop it, and then I'll reinforce it from the inside. You know, and I got some gaps and stuff that I got to fill in here with some glass. There's lots of space above it, you know, all the way down in here. So yeah, that's how I'm getting a little bit of extra room for the speaker magnet. And the speaker magnet goes a little bit here too, but not here. So this gets me just a little bit of airspace that I needed. I made each side identical, even though I could have made the opposite, a little more space on the left side. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna screw this down. How it's gonna be mounted in here permanently, and then I'll take those screws out, of course, when I'm done. Then when I put the face on, I'll screw it down and then install the sub, and it'll be permanently mounted. Like I said, I'll have my false floor. But, you know, since the last update, I actually enlarged this over because I'm going to have a big fuse power distribution block right here. If I can change this, I'm going to do a really fancy battery terminal, but I don't think I can because I think this has a special fuse in it. But I can definitely put a really nice gold negative post on here and upgrade the ground wires. And then I'll probably put some lights on this little lip here to light up the battery in this area. So, all right, now let's get this glass work going. I'll show you that as I'm doing it. Okay, so here is, excuse this mess. So here's the back of the box. This is some just generic fleece, and this is the part of the trunk, and it'll actually press on this, and I'll be able to follow the trunk space. But like I was saying, both boxes are identical, so they have identical airspace, and this is a little extra room right here for the magnet of the speaker to fit. This is a little bit of extra room for the top of the magnet to sit, just a little extra airspace. So what I'm actually doing is putting it into the car, and I'll be screwing it down to its final position. And then as you can see, down along that bottom long line here's the pressing part through, and it's all taped up like this side. And I'm just going to wet that mat out, and then this follows. That's a little extra space behind it, but that's okay. That follows the back contour. That way nothing's hitting. But as you can see, this fills in nicely down here. And even when I'm matting it out, I can let it fall a little bit if I want to. You know, but yeah, that'll give me all my airspace and the back sealed up. And then I'll put the front on, the front face, and then I'll glass all that in too. So I'm gonna get these out of here, and or both in, I guess, and I'm gonna start fiberglassing them up. All right, I got my first layer of resin added to the felt, whatever you want to call it, and I did do a little bit of chop mat in the bigger areas that I could reach in, and it did a layer or two across. You know, I didn't worry about getting up in here, but well, you know, here, get the light on in here. There you go. I did a little bit over there. I was just messing around, but you know, it still needs to get hard, and you know, I got to hit it from the back side where it kind of stretches a little bit. Let's see if it's getting hard here. Sticking up. I'll just trim that. But yeah, came out good. No accidents. No, didn't get in the car anywhere. So I'm gonna just head to work. Come back later on. Pull the molds out of the car and work on it from the backside. All right, sub boxes are all done. Sanded smooth, nice rounded corners. Got the top part that's gonna show. Fiberglass and bondoed smooth. Got the trunk floor done, test fitted, made sure everything fits in, and now it's time to lay some leather on it and glue it down. I just want to, this is a little pod I made for the control for the Virtuoso. This is actually gonna mold it right off the top of the car charger, the pad where you set your cell phone to charge, and this just sits flush on top of it. I'll probably just, I don't want to ruin any parts of the car really, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna mount that down. Maybe just a little set screw from the thing up into this, and then this has a trim plate to set the I'll show you where this goes in a minute. I'm gonna prime it now. All the vinyl wrap is done down the sides, following the contour of the trunk. They'll be pushed back a little bit tighter into there, but it all ends real nicely, matching the amp rack and everything, equal on both sides. I gotta pull them back out, do some wiring, which would be really simple. Running parallel, 2 ohms, and then push them back in, screw them down to this, which is securely mounted to this, and then put some polyfill in and put the subs in, and that'd be besides. And then I have to build a new floor, you know. So I'll get going on that. And here is the big reveal. After doing all that fiberglassing and matching all that contour up, having those grills painted just to make it look like a flat wall, but that's what I wanted, all show. And the floor lifts up to reveal that battery and that other floor really easily. That goes back to the back trim there. I can obviously turn that LED lighting on and off. We're gonna get it tuned up this week, and obviously I can't play music because of YouTube copyright, but I'm really pleased with the floating amp rack and the matching angles and the matching, I did matching leather on all of this, and we actually had a car show with this today, and it got tons of attention. And then you all have seen the doors done, but I did add that carbon fiber to the doors there. And then this is the control module for the Virtuoso. That's made this little pod in place of the cover for the cell phone charger, and I disconnected the charging part so it doesn't sit there and try to charge that. Well, yeah, I just wrapped that in matching leather, fiberglass that, bondoed it, traced the pattern off the, I showed you that earlier in the video. So yeah, stereo system's all done. I mean, in case you're wondering, yes, there are some different floor mats in there. I'll show those in another video. But yeah, the system's all done. We're gonna get it tuned up. Hopefully it sounds good. A little trick I did was I used cat litter. I may have said this earlier in the video to figure out how much square inches of airspace were in there. 0.72 or something like that. I can't remember exactly now. And that's what I wanted. So stay tuned. Lots more to come. And like I said, this is going to be the wrap-up video, but then I'll make one big overview of the whole stereo system once it's all said and done. Thanks for watching. This was a long build. Hit that subscribe and like button. I really appreciate it. I'm going to keep going with the car. It's going to, you know, complete show car, drive it a lot, build it a lot, have fun with it a lot, car shows a lot. So it's always out about. So really appreciate it, everybody. Catch you later.